This is a rock. It's a magical rock. Now, in an ideal world, you'd all have your own rock. But we don't live in that world right now. So imagine, if you will, you have your own rock in your hands. And you hold it up to your face. And you whisper your problems into it. I hate myself. And then your problems will be gone. So I was taught this when I was 15 by a therapist. Well, technically, she said that I had to whisper my problem into it, sleep on it, and then when I wake up, my problem would be gone. Yeah, it didn't work. This show contains continuous mention of self-harm and suicide. If that is a trigger for you, then this just isn't the show for you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a nice day. Equally, if you are triggered by anything at any point, you are more than welcome to leave. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Getting bored. Yeah, being part of mankind. There's not a lot to do no more. Capable change. This race is a waste of time. People rushing everywhere, swarming round like flies. Man, think I need a 44. That's a gun, I think. Give them all a surprise. Yeah, I think I'm gonna kill myself. Cause a little suicide. I'll stick around for a couple of days. What a scandal. If I died, I think I'm gonna kill myself. In a little headline news. Oh, to think what the papers say in the state of teenage blues. This is a relaxed performance. You are more than welcome to leave at any point. You can have snacks, you can take a drink. It's all chill. Put your feet up, have a chill time. This is a show about my mental health journey. It's a little bit like a jigsaw in the sense that you do have to put a little bit of work in to put the pieces together, and some bits are just plain missing, so have fun with that one. But this is just all an extension of my brain. It's a metaphor. In 2016, Brexit started, and I rode in an ambulance. Twice. I used to not like drinking alcohol. I started uni. I was on antidepressants for 2 years. I found out at uni that I like drinking alcohol. I lay on a hospital bed in a corridor. I was working at Greg's. The musical director of the society I was in called for an ambulance. The nurse gave me a tuna sandwich and a cup of tea. My manager at Greg's said me being in hospital wasn't a valid excuse for me to not go to my shift. Turns out, if you take about 20 antidepressants with a little bit of peach schnapps, it doesn't really do much. The tuna sandwich was nice. Once, a gateway worker told me that I caused my own depression because I missed a therapy session 2 years before. I love baths. Is there anything better than a bath bomb? Oh, not the ones from Lush. I am not paying £6 for something that just fizzes in the bath once. I'll go to Wilkinson's. Thank you so much. I just think there's nothing better than just lying down in the water and being at peace. Could fuck about and drown myself. Oh, but I am naked. I don't want to scare the poor paramedics. And what if my dad finds me? Disgusting. I'm sure it's hard to mourn over your daughter when her tits are flapping about. I could go put some clothes on, then drown myself. But is that weirder? Will the paramedics come in and be like, she was such a lost soul, oh, she was suicidal, but what a psycho, who wears clothes in a bath? I worked in a summer camp a couple of years ago, and my job there was to be a camp coach, which basically means that I made sure that the kids brushed their teeth, that they showered and were clean, that they were fed, and that they were happy. During this time, I had a bit of a wobble, and by wobble, I mean complete and utter fucking breakdown. I made a playlist for the occasion, songs for spiraling into a pit of depression. I'm still proud of that title, to be honest. And this bad boy was kitted out with the works. We're talking How to Save a Life, Hurt, Breathe Me, Chasing Cars, Fix You, the whole shebang. If you can think of a depressing song, it was in this playlist. And I would play it constantly listening to it. But I did have one song that was my favorite. I found God on the corner of First and Amistad, where the West was overrun, all alone, and smoking his last cigarette. I said, where have you been? He said, ask anything. Where were you when everything was falling apart? All my days spent by the telephone that never rang, when all I needed was a call that never came, to the corner of First and Amistad. Lost and insecure, you found me lying on the floor, surrounded, why'd you have to wait? Where were you, just a little late? You found me. Oh my God, I don't know what it was about this song. I think it was probably the little Christian girl in me that just fell in love with it. I ended up relapsing and confided in one of the camp coaches, the senior camp coach, who later became one of my friends. She went into my room and started confiscating all of my sharp objects. Oh. There's a few of them. She took my teaspoon. Where's a spoon? That's not a spoon. Where's a teaspoon? There it is. She took my teaspoon. Can I just say, here and now, that if I ever self-harm with a teaspoon, just admit me then and there, like a spoon. What am I going to do with a spoon? It didn't work. I just became more secretive. I stole a knife from the kitchen and hid it under my mattress. Maybe like a week and a half later, I gave it to a friend. Oh, sleeves are hard. So I gave it to a friend and she said, "Oh my God, Leanne, can I just say how proud I am of you? Like, this is such a big step." And I was like, "Oh my God, I know. Thank you so much." Yeah, I didn't have the heart to tell her that the only reason I was giving it her was, it was blunt as shit. My GP really fought for me to get a diagnosis. We thought we were getting there. There were some meetings about me. People were talking about me. And it looked really good. And then I got a letter. And the letter said, basically, stop asking for a diagnosis. You don't need one. Accept the help that we've given you. The help they gave me was a leaflet and an invitation to a group therapy session. After I got this letter, I went straight to my GP, and she told me that my best chance of getting a diagnosis was to move to a different county. It looked like we weren't going to get there, that I'd never get a diagnosis. But then, this March, I got a phone call. For the last 6 years, I've only been diagnosed with anxiety and depression. Those kept us on our toes. But there were other demons lurking in the back of my mind that when I wondered what they were, doctors refused to define. Now there's a new diagnosis strutting onto the scene that we pretty much knew about since I was 19. So now it's official. Drum roll, please. My new diagnosis is BPD. And it's fine, it's cool, it's what I wanted, it's the final stamp of certainty that I've never had, but it's a little fucking scary because now I've got this for life. Fuck. Well, what's BPD? I can hear you all cheer. Well, it's borderline personality disorder. Don't fear, it's a condition that affects how you think, how you feel, and also how you interact with other people. Listen, rhyming's hard. I'm emotionally unstable. My mood swings are mad. I could be laughing with my friends, and then a dog makes me sad, and then I'm crying at the dog because the dog is so cute, and that's all happened in about a minute. What a hoot. I could be reckless and impulsive in the things that I do. Like, in the space of 1 month, I got 3 tattoos. I spend lots of money on things I don't need, and I could possibly, perhaps, be smoking too much weed. Nah. Well, that's me, told in a song. And like my wait for a diagnosis, it didn't take too long. So this is now with me for forever and a day. Honestly, I don't really know what to say, but I'll eventually get therapy. Talk it out. It'll never go away, but I'll learn to live with it now. But there's one little perk, just to warn you. If you say you like my personality, I can say, thanks. It's a disorder. What's this one? Is that? Right, is that the? That's Kotypin. Is that one? And that's the loft for me, is it? Oh, what one's that? Oh, well, that's that. Whatever. Nice. In 2011, we saw the royal wedding of Prince William and Kate, and Alan came into my life. I got tetanus, diphtheria, and polio vaccines. I wore a lot of eyeliner. I didn't have many friends. My fringe was long and covered my eyes, so you couldn't see me. I used to wear a lot of layers. Paramore lyrics were written on my arms and as my statuses on MSN. Worrying about everything and anything became normal. People used to shout, "Emo!" at me in corridors. For me, it helps if I name some of my problems so that I can talk openly about them in public without everyone knowing what I'm talking about. You have to roll up your sleeves to get the vaccines. Alan, my anxiety, was here to stay. When I left the room after my vaccine, people pointed and laughed at my arms. I started to wear less eyeliner after someone told me I looked like a raccoon. Oh, Pringles, yes! Oh my God. Fucking empty. What a shame. Right. My body tells a story. Whether its genre is of tragedy is open to interpretation, but it's available to be read by anyone. This often leads to looks of sympathy and condolences and questions of why these stories are on show. Your body is a canvas. Mine is a cutting board. Your body is a temple. Mine's an ashtray. I have symbols of pain and suffering unapologetically on my skin for all to see, and I will not hide them away with long sleeves and hoodies because I don't see these as the wounds of a damaged girl. I see them as the battle scars of someone at war with their own mind. So why should I be ashamed? There's a Japanese art practice called kintsugi, which is where you line broken pottery with gold when it's repaired. Is that what it takes to prove that I'm no longer broken? When I was 13, 14, it was the first time that I remember talking to a professional about my mental health. I was ripping out my hair from the scalp. And I didn't think this was normal, so I decided to go to my GP about it. I had quite long hair at the time, and because of my hair pulling, it ended up having quite a large bald patch on the top of my head. So I'm sat in the doctor's, and this doctor tells me that this is normal, that tennis players do it all the time. She sends me on my way. So we go to another GP. They finally sort me out, and I am sent to the Children and Adolescents Mental Health Service, also known as CAMS. Now, if you have had a positive experience at CAMS, or anyone you know has, I'm so happy for you. For me personally, I didn't, and this is just my personal story. I walk in with my dad and see someone with a clipboard. I sit down, start telling her my life story, and I mention that when I was in year 7, I was walking and there was this girl that grabbed my hair from behind me and yanked it back. Completely valid. I had written that she was a slag on a toilet door, so completely warranted. So the clipboard woman looks at me and says, so you can pull your own hair out, but if someone else does it, you don't like it? That's a little bit hypocritical. So I start counselling, and I'm told that I need to write in a journal for every time I pull out my hair. I have to write the time, the place, what I was feeling, and how many strands of hair I'd pulled out. Now, I was already the weird kid. Now, I was at the back of English, counting how many strands of hair I just pulled out from my scalp. I was in PE, and I'm sat down. We were meant to play badminton, but I'm not really a sporty person. So I sit this one out, and I've just pulled my hair. There's no bins in the sports hall. I'm wearing my PE kit that doesn't have any pockets. I can't exactly put it in my sock, so I hold it in my fist. One of the teachers comes over and asks why I'm not playing badminton. And she says, and then I say about being ill, whatever. And then she looks at my hand, and she can see hair sticking out from under my fist. She looks at me and says, "Why do you have hair in your hand? Do you have some kind of mental problem?" There's a four-letter word that keeps me up at night. I try to push it out with all of my might. I'm trying hard to tell you what I'm thinking about, but when you ask, it just slips out. I don't know why you're asking, just look at my arm. No, I've not tried to do an Etch-a-Sketch with my arm. I know, you know, my cat does too, but still you ask me, how are you? Well, I'm fine, I'm really fine. Don't look at my tears, this sadness is mine. I've visualised how I'll do it for weeks now, probably years, but time lies when you're depressed. I could relax in a bath, replace my bath bomb with a toaster, cuddle a shark and I'll be deader than Blockbuster, do a trust fall to an oncoming train. The only thing left will be my tear and blood stains. Could join my chicks and have a snuggle in the oven, jump into a zoo and give a tiger some lovin'. Find the monster from a quiet place and let out a screech. Raise up a glass and down some bleach. Now these are ways I want to die. I want to die. But you don't want to hear that, so I'll just reply with I'm fine. Oh. Oh well. Oh, vamos. I once called Samaritans, and when I was quite suicidal, and they told me to listen to some music. Okay, I think I'm gonna kill myself. When I was 17, I was in counselling again because things weren't great at home. I didn't know how to manage my emotions, and my parents didn't really know how to manage me. So I'm sat down. The woman walks in, and she's holding a box of rocks. Now, at this point, me and rocks have got a bit of history. So I'm already kind of rolling my eyes. She tells me to pick out the rocks that are my family. Now, I don't know about you, I don't know if this is relatable, but my parents, my family, aren't rocks, so I found that quite hard. I end up picking a purple rock for my mum. I know it's a grey beanbag, but I made you whisper into an imaginary rock, so work with me. I pick this purple rock as my mum. The counsellor goes, "Oh, very interesting. So, you've picked an amethyst? That's quite spiky. Is this because you think of your mum as quite a spiky personality?" I say, no. I say no. I'm going to take a glass of water. That's not what I say. Beautiful. So, spiky personality, amethyst, we're back. I say no. My mum's favourite colour is purple, so I picked a purple rock. I pick another rock for my dad. I can't remember which rock. Sorry, Dad. So, and then I'm told to pick my own rock. Place my rock in the middle. I'm told that I need to put my mum rock and my dad rock as far or as close away from my rock as I think our relationship is. So, she said, you're not taking this very seriously. I was like, you're the one that's brought rocks into a therapy session. So, funny story about my hallucinations. I'm in my room. My room's upstairs. And I'm just kind of living my dream, belting out. This is the part of me that you're never gonna ever take away from me. Yeah. Living my best life. And I look out of my window and I see two men standing on my roof. I take a deep breath and tell myself it's fine, it's not real, it's just a hallucination. Because why would there be two men standing on my roof? That's illogical. If it's illogical, it probably means that it's not real. It's just a hallucination. Take a deep breath. Then, one of the roof men looks at me and says, "Oh, you all right, mate?" Now, I'm no stranger to a weird hallucination, but my visual hallucinations have never spoken to me before. This was a new step. Turns out, my housemate was having a party, and the roofmen were just some of her drunk friends that decided to crawl out of our upstairs bathroom and chill on our roof for a little bit. They liked my singing, apparently. Oh. Nah. I was told by a crisis team member that one of the reasons why I was depressed was because I liked true crime and watching Louis Theroux documentaries. In 2007, Gordon Brown was Prime Minister, and I broke my light fitting. I had a cat called Misty, who was my best friend. When I was 10, I liked Doctor Who, Rihanna, and skipping. One day, my mum got angry at me because she thought I left the back door open. I was 10 when Umbrella by Rihanna was a hit. My mum's name is Denise. Misty is a house cat. I used to cry when Denise shouted at me. I used to think that if you tied a skipping rope to a light fitting, you could hang yourself. Even 10-year-old Leanne was too heavy for the light fitting. Misty hadn't got out. Oh. Honestly, of all times to get a tickly cough. Help. That's a word my often busy mouth has trouble forming. The letters get stuck in my throat as my shame, pride, and constant fear of being a burden hauls them back into the pit in my stomach. I think I'm meant to reach for this word willingly, but instead, I sit patiently in a room on fire in silence because I don't want to bother anyone. Everyone's got their own shit to deal with. I don't want to put my baggage on their own life. And when I do reach for help, what do I get? Leaflets, pictures of mountains, put on some music. No wonder I'm not asking for help. And honestly, I'm terrified. I've been mentally unwell longer than I've been well. I don't know who Leanne is if she's not sad, depressed, probably annoying. About close to a year ago now, when I first got the letter about me not getting a diagnosis, I wrote a note. I've kept it ever since, just in case. So, I finally did it. Honestly, I don't think anyone's surprised at this point. I just want the ones I know, I love, to know. You couldn't have done anything. I think my mind's always been made up on how I was going to go. Even 10-year-old Leanne knew. I'm just sick of hurting. Mum, I love you. Dad, I love you too. But Mum, please don't be too sad. You can knit something nice for my funeral. Have a big cuddle with Misty and tell him I love him too. To anyone who has ever called me a friend, I'm sorry that I've not been a good one. Please don't let this stop you from doing the things that you were made to do. This was just the only way. I'll be at peace now. I honestly don't know how these things work. Like, Will this be posted on Facebook or... I'm sorry. Leanne. Alone in my room is where I sit. I haven't showered for weeks. I just Febreze the pits. Cooking is hard. When temptation's sharp edge is lingering, I'm so fucked up. Even Matilda is triggering. I can't remember the last time that I changed my clothes and brushing my teeth. Only Jesus knows. I'm crying so loud I've had a noise complaint. Well, you're full of serotonin, ass. Can kiss my taint. 'Cause I'm fine. No, yeah, I'm fucking fine. I'm not enjoying my life. I'm just biding my time. They say I need help and give me a new drug. Well, I'm just waiting for death to come and give me a hug. I want to see Amy Winehouse. We can sing a nice tune. Me and Harambe can chill in the afternoon. Robin Williams will come and greet me with a joke. He'll shout, your life, and then we'll go for a smoke. Carrie Fisher would sit and have a cup of tea with me. Victoria would make me laugh on the daily. I'd cry to Steve Irwin, a man that I adore. Alan Rickman will say, turn to page 394. Now, this is all the assumption that I make it to heaven. Even then, there's probably a VIP section. I wouldn't be welcome. My life was a mess, and that's remembering the shit that I haven't repressed. So please, please just let me die. Let me die. But if that's my reply, the psych ward will say hi, so I'm fine. Actually, they really won't. I think this show's taught us anything, is that if you say that, you'll just get a picture of a mountain. I'm not singing this song to try and make you feel sad, even though it's probably made you realise that I'm mad. It's just all the shit that goes on in my head. Don't know about you, but it fills me with dread. So if you see me teary-eyed and with a brand new scar, don't worry. I mean, I've got this far. So this is to everyone to save some time in the answer to your question. I'm fine. Thank you.